Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to have Tim Matykiewicz.
Perfect, Tim. Perfect.
Matykiewicz on the show with me here today. Tim is president and CEO of Arizona Events Group. They specialize in creating some of the Southwest's most exciting live events. With over 40 years in the industry, he's blessed to do what he loves, producing unforgettable experiences. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Hey, thank you, Tim, and great name. Thank you very much for allowing me to come on here. Two Tims on the same call.
That's right.
A good thing. That's a very good thing.
Yes, everybody listening, brace yourselves.
Yes.
Yes, and Fergestad and Matykiewicz. Those are we were just talking about how Siri does not get our names right.
No, that's right. But yeah, that's two powerful Tims on this call. So yeah, everybody take notes.
All right. So Tim, if you could you give us a quick snapshot of your business right now, what you do, what your company does?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. Hey, and thanks again for allowing me to come on. I love sharing the story. Arizona Events Group, we're about 11 years old. I've been doing events over 40 years, and it's been a passion of mine. But I tell a lot of people who want to get into it, hey, look, sometimes you may have to support your passion, which I did while I was working for other people. And then now all of a sudden my passion supports me. So it's really good. And I encourage people to really do what you love to do. And it's your passion. We're the Southwest's, one of the Southwest's best live event production companies. So we produce live events. And what that means is we have one event that we own ourselves that we produce, and that's the Arizona Balloon Classic that happens annually every year in the end of January at the Goodyear Ballpark. In 2025, it's the 24th through the 26th of January at the Goodyear Ballpark. Now, Tim, that's the only event that we own. So we own proprietary ownership of that event. But what we really do is we help other events with their events. So if from nonprofits to profits, I want to announce, this is the first time announcing, yesterday we signed an agreement with Dorito Partners up in Scottsdale Pavilions, Talking Stick. We've signed a new agreement to operate and manage the Rock and Roll Car Show. So if you're familiar with the Rock and Roll Car Show up there at the Pavilions, it's a 30-year-old car show. And we just inked our agreement yesterday. So we'll be, I don't like the word takeover, but we'll be updating the operations and management of that show because it's got some huge opportunities. And then we even do banquets. We'll do indoor stuff. So we have an opportunity with the Small Business Association here next year where we'll be producing their first time brunch annual, their first inaugural brunch awards event. So we're excited about that. There's a team of 3 of us full time. During the off season, we're coming up onto our peak season, and we'll grow to about 12 people on the team that operate different aspects of our different events. So the cool part about us and what distincts us from other event agencies is that we can sell sponsorships as well. So that's where I come in. My favorite part of the event business is selling and acquiring sponsors. That's where I kind of came up. So, but that's pretty much who Arizona Events Group is.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about the range of event size that you do. You said you do some smaller ones, some brunches, but you also do some bigger events. What are some of the smallest and what are some of the biggest you've done?
Yeah, so our annual Arizona Events, Arizona Balloon Classic, it's in its 14th year. We've had over 20,000 in attendance in just 2 days, and so that's an exciting event. The car show brings in about 1,000 people a weekend, so about 4,000 people a month. And then our smaller events, we'll draw a couple hundred to about 500 people. So we can help manage large events or even small, tiny events. But I came up through the small and the large event industry. I served on 2 Super Bowl committees. I'm a life member of the Fiesta Bowl, and so I produced a couple national championship football games. And so, I'm familiar with the big crowds, but we've also done some really. We did a bike ride early in the summer down in Tucson. There were 75 riders, and that was a really fun event. But yeah, we can go from a couple people to a couple thousand people.
Okay, excellent. And can you speak to a little bit more about the sponsorship aspect that you seem to enjoy?
Yeah, so I'm a natural sales person. For some reason, I think that's my dad was not. For some reason, my mom was not. My mom's a retired nurse. My dad is a retired sign painter. I don't know where the DNA came from for the salesperson, but we have a big family. Our family's got lots of personality, but I came out. I could sell. My family thinks I could sell you anything. It's fun. It actually is fun, and I know that a lot of us take sales and acquiring sales and sponsorships as tough, hard work because you're dealing with people. We have a saying: it's not that hard. People make it hard, but I try not to make it that difficult to really promote a client or a sponsor, a brand or a service. One, because we can deliver. So if you can deliver consumers to a brand or a service, you have a pretty good combination. And if you can make sure that you don't outprice it and make sure that the market can afford it, you're up for a pretty good success. It's just a matter of the relationships that you build. So I'm more of a relationship salesperson. You have to say no to me in order to move on. Because I also have a process where I don't really accept no answer as an answer. It's kind of like what I grew up with. So I'll keep not bugging you, but I'll keep asking about the interest of trying to get into a sponsorship partnership. But no, it's actually pretty fun, Tim. I like doing it. I like presenting opportunities. I like selling stuff, and if I can help sell cars, or air conditioners, or HVAC services, or you name it, I want to be able to see if we can hook up that brand or service to the tons of consumers that we pull in for our events.
Okay. You mentioned sort of your a little bit of your background and upbringing. You were originally from Chicago, that's right, but you're a product largely of Arizona. You've been here a few decades.
Yeah. I guess I still have the accent, but I don't hear it myself. But yeah, so I moved out here permanently to live with my dad when I was about 14. So without telling anybody really how old we are, I grew up. I was raised here for the last 50 years. So I played sports here. I raised my family here. I recreate in Arizona. I think it's the greatest place to live. I've traveled all over the country, and I played a little sports and lived in Chicago enough to know that I really don't want to shovel anything except sunshine and cool weather. I don't care for cold weather anymore, but cool weather. So maybe I think they say we become a cactus. I've become a cactus, which is okay.
Okay, yeah, I feel you there, Tim. I'm similar. I'm from the Midwest as well, and Minnesota originally, and I'm here by choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's a great place. I love when we get, those folks from the Midwest and the North, the snowbirds. I think it's great. I mean, Arizona in the wintertime you can't beat this place. And I've been around a lot of places, but you can't beat Arizona in the wintertime.
Right. You do acclimate though. I'll say that when I have friends come down, snowbirds and stuff, I've gotten soft in a sense, right? It gets to 70, 80 or 60, 70 degrees and I need a jacket.
I know. Well, and the summers are tough. Like we've had couple brutal summers, right? The 115s. Yes. And I tell people, hey, look, don't come between, June and September because you won't like it. It's miserable. Now, if you have those folks, friends or relatives you don't really want to visit regularly, have them come in July or August.
Right.
It'll be the first and last time they come. I
Well,
promise.
you said we turn into a cactus, and that's kind of the acclimation process, I imagine.
Yeah.
That, our blood seems to thin out or something just so we can endure the heat.
Yeah, cactus squirrels can take the heat and they can take the snow, in the cold weather and the hot weather, but they're still around. And I think, yeah, you and I are that cactus that's kind of just blended in.
So back to sales. That's something I didn't have a lot of experience in either. I mean, I was very technical. I was doing scientific research and didn't appreciate how sales applies to so many things. And once you realize that you're sincerely have an incredible product, you're trying to help the other person, right? You're just trying to educate them and stuff. It gets, I think, pretty easy, and it's easy to be passionate about it as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think one of the advantages that we have, especially for our hot air balloon festival, is I very rarely get no. Now, if they can't afford it or it's not in their budget, somehow we figure out a way to get that brand or that service involved. But hot air balloons are pretty unique, and it's my niche. So our hot air balloon event is a niche event. It's a destination event. So we have some really good amenities when it comes to offering the brand and the service. Some opportunities to sell what they have, promote what they have. We just signed a deal with Cox Mobile, all right, for our hot air balloon event, and they're going to be sponsoring our glow, which is the balloons that light up at night. And that's a brand that's a new service from that corporation, that company, and they just want to get it out in the hands of people that are coming to the balloon event. And again, I'll draw about 12,000 people on Saturday night alone for this event. I mean, it's massively fun. It's people everywhere. And
tell us more about it. Tell us more about the event.
Yeah, so 24 to 26th of January at the Goodyear Ballpark. This is the 8th consecutive year that the city of Goodyear is hosting us. And like I said, we're 14 years, so this will be our 14th annual, and we're having a blast still. We still like it. We'll draw
how many balloons?
Yeah, so we'll draw 25 balloons from all over the country, and a lot of these pilots are coming out west because the hot air balloon season back east is winterized. You can't fly hot air balloons when it's snowing, and you can fly it when it's cold, but when it's raining and snowy, you can't. So they come out west. We draw about 25 to 30 balloons. We host them. So we put them up in a hotel and provide them propane, and they fly for us in the morning. Okay. And then they glow for us at night. And the glow is really nice. It's a static display of a hot air balloon staying on the ground. And for a couple hours, they light up their propane, and it looks like a giant light bulb. We're bringing in lasers next year. So we'll have a laser show on the balloons. It's got music in it. It has all kinds of kids activities. Kids 12 and under are free. Well, free inflatables. Nice. I mean, you name it. We wanted to make this also an affordable event for families. So for mom and dad, get the ticket, and the kids are all free. And then when you get in, we have free entertainment, free music, free inflatables. You just have to buy your food and your drinks. We say just get here. If you just get here, you're going to have a great time. The event starts at 12 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and it ends at 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday. So it's a whole day of activities. But again, the balloons fly in the morning, so you want to come out early. That the flying part of the event, the Ascensions we call it, is free. Anybody can come watch the balloons take off from the fields at Goodyear Ballpark. Goodyear Ballpark's where Major League Baseball teams, Cincinnati Reds and the Cleveland Guardians, it's their spring training facility. So everybody knows where that's at. But in the mornings, come check out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Come check out the balloons. They launch balloon rides. We sell balloon rides. We sell tether rides. And then at night, come enjoy the glow on Friday and Saturday night. Sunday is the last flight, and then we're done by 10 a.m. on Sunday. So
I imagine you have some pretty unique balloons. Do you have I've seen some custom shapes and all that.
Yeah, so we have a couple, lots of corporate balloons coming out where they have their name on the balloon, and they bring out lots of colorful balloons. But we're bringing Smokey the Bear back. And that's a huge balloon. But we've had some really, really cool special shape balloons, and we'll have our announcement of special shapes here in about the next 30 days. And believe it or not, ticket sales start on Black Friday, and
Okay.
it's usually our annual time when we start selling tickets. And tickets go sales advance because we're at Christmas time, go really, really
Right. Yeah, it seems like a good gift idea for somebody, and
Yeah.
it's sort of a good experience.
Yeah, it's a big, and we also have a VIP experience called the Hub, HUB, the Hub. This is kind of where everybody kind of meets. We have opportunity to meet and greet the hot air balloon pilots in that area. It's a VIP experience, it has food, it has drinks, and we also have this expanded RV village. I don't know what it is, Tim. Along with the pilots, we have lots of RV clubs and RVers. They drive to Arizona in the Southwest, and again, to enjoy the weather. And so we have an expanded RV village. So if you have an RV, come hang out with us for the weekend. It's a really good experience. The
Nice.
balloons fly right over the RVs, and you're right there. So, but yeah, it's a
Excellent.
great.
Do you also auction off rides on specific balloons, right? Like,
Yeah, well, we don't auction. We give a lot away, and I get yelled at because I like giving away stuff. But we've sold out of hot air balloon rides and for all 4 events in the past. So we have opportunities to do festival flights. And so if you buy a festival flight, and I think it's going to be around like $300, you can take a ride in the morning with the other balloons, or you can fly in the afternoon, which is the best part in Arizona. You can fly in the afternoon here in Arizona in the wintertime. But we do a lot of donating. We do a lot of giving away.
okay.
We'll give away 4,000 tickets to Vet Ticks. We love the veterans. The veterans are free. Active military are free. We love giving away tickets, and I think we have. What we do is, Tim, specifically like our RV village. There's a raffle, so there's a raffle for a hot air balloon ride for 2,
Okay.
and then we'll also do a bonus ride where if you sign up for a hot air balloon ride, you'll get put into a bonus ride. So you may get like 2 hot air balloon rides, on the weekend. Because the first thing people say when they get done with their hot air balloon experience is, when can I go again? It's probably the best experience you'll ever have. You'll never, ever forget it. You'll talk about it the rest of your life, I promise. A hot air balloon ride. I don't know if you've been, but everybody has to have an experience one time in their life to go on a hot air balloon ride.
I have. It was fun. It's something that is somewhat unique to our climate, right? And so when
Yes.
people come down from it's a nice thing to be able to get out and enjoy the nice
Yes.
weather in Arizona.
Yeah, people usually the second question is, hey, could I get a hot air balloon ride? Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, ABC Fest. It's the alphabet ABC and Fest, FEST.com. That's the website. There's lots of details on there. There's a schedule. There's sponsors. Click the link to any of the sponsors. We've been doing really well with sponsors this year. And the sponsors are local. We like local. We're a big community event. We like to promote local businesses. And we've gotten more than expected support from local sponsors. So please, I encourage everybody to go to that abcfest.com, check out the details, the schedule, and patronize a few of them local sponsors if you're in the Goodyear area.
All right. Heck
Now,
yeah.
see, that was my sales pitch, Tim.
Yeah, that's great. So, is there a lot of competition in the event space here in Arizona?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a saturated market. I mean, and it's only because I think I've been doing this for so long because of the weather. I'm serious. I mean, the sun shines, over 300 days a year, and so you can do stuff outside, do stuff inside. And we're one of the big. Well, before the Coyotes left, we were in one of the Big 12, Big 13, meaning we were one of the markets that had all 4 pro teams: right? Basketball, football, baseball, hockey. We have soccer. So yeah, it's pretty, and it's one of the reasons why you could struggle in sponsorship sales. And what we have it down to is if you can micro the process, of sales, meaning if you can niche the sales process, and that's why we say local and community, and get small businesses involved to support the event, that's better success. When you go to the macro now, meaning going outside the local area, going outside the community, and you're now going into a big market, Phoenix,
Right.
fifth largest market in the country. And with all the pro teams here in town, there's not much money left because all the pro teams get them first, right? So you're left with, you're not left with much. So that's why we really like to we were successful getting a big company or two. Like I told you, we signed up Cox Mobile, a big company, right? But they have a new service. So they need us like we need them. But that's been the process. And I think that's what makes events here in this area very competitive, because there's not enough funding really. And this is now for-profit events, not nonprofit events. And nonprofit events struggle too because of the same process. There's not enough money here in this market because this area is just so saturated with cool events. And I love it. I mean, you can go to an event every weekend, and ticket sales are no problem. Sponsorship sales for support gets to be challenging, but we make it through. We really do make it through.
Speaking of sort of national sponsors and ABC, you can't help but think hot air balloon event in Goodyear. You ever get the Goodyear blimp on your radar?
Yeah, so we've reached out a couple of times, and believe it or not, that's a great question. We've always wanted it to come out because that's, the original spot. The original tire station is still there. The Goodyear tire store is still there, the original, right? And we have reached out to the blimp. What makes it challenging though is that there's a West Coast blimp out of California, there's an East Coast blimp out of St. Louis, I think. And they're all on schedules. So if you don't have a NASCAR race, or you don't have an outdoor event, I think it flew over the Phoenix Open once or twice, they're on a traveling schedule. They don't make special appearances if you ask them to. It's kind of got to be a special occasion. But yeah, we've tried, and we'll try again. We'll just keep asking until they say, oh yeah, hey, the timing's right, because we're going to be out in your area for another event. So we'll swing by.
Yeah, Phoenix International Raceway isn't too far away.
No. And so we're in between. So our balloon event is actually in between the Barrett-Jackson car auction and the Waste Management Phoenix Open. So we're right smack dab in the middle. So Barrett starts, then it's us, and then it's the Open. I mean, it's the three weekends of probably the best time to be here in Arizona. Both are in Scottsdale, then we come to the west side. So if you can get out and check out cars, and then you can stick around and check out hot air balloons, and then stick around, have a great time, watch golf, and listen to music in the bird's nest. I mean, that's a great 3 week. It really is a great 3 week adventure. And yeah, I mean, I've seen the blimp fly over the Open, but yeah, they've never made it over to the west side to fly over to your ballpark.
Okay, so what's one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career or in the event space?
Well, when you go on your own, right? So it's my passion. My passion finally supports me. But when you're not there yet, right? When you have to subsidize and self-fund a business, that's the biggest challenge. So working for somebody else is pretty easy because you're getting paid by them, you're working for them, you're mentored by them, and a steady paycheck. Did I mention that you're getting paid by them? So when you go on your own, that's a different type of stress. You may have stress at working for somebody else, but when you're now going on your own and you have to subsidize and fund this small business, it gets challenging. So we had COVID, right? That was an easy one. Not an easy one. That was, I don't mean it easy. It was an easy one to explain, meaning we didn't quit because we're an outdoor event, but we had to go through lots of challenges, and we had to lay off everybody, including myself, for eight months. So nobody got paid through the company except through unemployment. But that was a challenge. When I worked for the Thunderbird Graduate School back in the late 90s, I produced and was the executive director of the Thunderbird Balloon Classic. 2001, we experienced 9/11. That was another one. I didn't take any classes for terrorism attacks and how you respond with outdoor events. So I've gone through a few catastrophes here on the planet. but I probably would have to say would be the stress of keeping a small business, in business during calamities, low sales, a tough economy. And if you can get through that and you can learn how to either pivot or make, I just same thing, either find a way or make a way or pivot, you'll be pretty successful. But I would have to say that really financing a small business is, especially when I self-fund it. So we have no loans, we don't have a lot of debt, we have no investors, there's no board. It's just you.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you have a support team, you have great team members, and I have probably the single best team. We have the single best team on the planet for producing events. We have a really great team dynamic. That's very helpful. So if you got a great team and you're a sole proprietor, that helps. But yeah, it's been a struggle, but if you can make it work. The other thing is, I'm not of age where I can go out and get another job because for some reason I'm not the most, I'm age restricted on, where I can work in my career, right? As a professional. I could go do labor, but as a career person, those days I think are gone. I never said I wasn't going to work for anybody else again, but when my small business, Arizona Events Group, now is pretty successful and has other opportunities, now I know that it's come full circle where I can subsidize and keep the business going. And people ask me all the time, Tim, so, is this all you do? It's all I do. It's just how I pay my mortgage, and I create, it's how I cover payroll, and it's how I cover everybody's cell phone and vacation time and rents and all that stuff. Yeah. So small businesses, and if you could do it on your own, boy, you'll be pretty good at anything that you do.
Right. There's a lot of challenges there for sure.
A lot of challenges.
And it's scary, right? Being an entrepreneur, but there's a lot of risk involved. As you said, there's also a lot of reward that goes with that.
Yeah. And you know what helps, Tim, is if you're established. So like I said before, like I had this passion right out of college. I wanted to go in the event business, but I had to work 43 years for everybody else that in the event business. I stayed, by the way, in the event and promotion and sales industry through those 43 years of working for other people, right? And so I got to learn, but do as much as you can by absorbing as much as you can. So when you do have an opportunity where now your passion supports you, I mean, that's a great success story. And it really does come down to passion, because you have to have the patience. One thing I do lack, I still think that I lack patience. I always want things done right now, and I want everybody to say yes right now, and I want things to happen right now. But you have to have patience, and you can't give up. You just can't give up. I know there are lots of songs and stories and poems and all that. You can't give up. And it gets hard. It does get hard, but you cannot give up. You just can't give up. So
I agree with that. Patience. You're right. You need a sense of urgency, right, to get things done. But I don't know how patient you need to be. But the other point of perseverance, right, is very, very,
yeah. And
very appreciated.
Money's a motivator. I don't know if that's in a song or something, but when you need it, all I gotta do is go and sell something, and you just can't take it for granted. When going gets good, you tend to like slack off a little bit, but you can't. And then when times are tough, well, you become, the greatest salesperson on the planet. So, money's a motivator. When you don't have it and you need it, you go get it. And then you got to make sure you don't take that ever advantage of it, or don't ever, misuse it, or don't take it for granted, because it could get taken away like that. So that's the other thing. Just make sure that everything is covered, and don't ever give up. Just never quit.
Okay. Is that the biggest thing you think you've learned? And if there was something you wish you would have known sooner about building wealth or success in your career, what might that be?
I do feel like, so early in my career, Tim, I was super, super involved. Okay, I've been married this month 34 years. I've got kids that are already grown and out. But if there was one little teeny thing, and when I had just gotten married and it was all about my career and not my wife's career, that's probably one thing that I would probably adjust, is that I was never around. I wasn't home. So Fiesta Bowl, I mentioned earlier in my career, from the time I got out of college, the late 80s, all the way through now, I'm a life member, but I was always working events. I was always traveling and working events. I was traveling representing the Fiesta Bowl. I was going, to watch games around the country, and I was always on the road, and I was always traveling and not home a lot, even when my son was born. But I would probably adjust that a little bit and make that more balanced, because back then it was all about me and my career. And now I just feel like, well, I wish I would. Now, my family's super, super supportive of what I do. Because at the same time, if I wouldn't have done that, and I'm a huge networker, and I tell people all the time, network, 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 get out and meet as many people as you can. Be a listener. Try to absorb get as much information as you can from what businesses and what people need. Because then you'll learn as you grow in your career what you can give back. And so I would say if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. Sure. I've got a lot of people to thank. If I wouldn't have worked for them, if I wouldn't have learned from them, if I wouldn't have gotten yelled at them from them, I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now, because it's what helped me get where I'm at now.
Yep. All that networking and all that education on your own. There's a great quote by Clemens or Mark Twain. I never let my schooling get in the way of my education.
Yep. I know very well. Yeah, no, I went high school, college. I played sports, though, mostly in college. I studied theater. So I got a degree in theater. Because I thought I was going to be an actor. And I'm like, actor, sales guy, salesperson, actor, we're all the same. Everybody's doing a big acting job out there when they got to try to sell or promote something. So that came in handy too. And I was highly involved in school, but I played sports, and that's how I was able to afford college. And then out of college, I just decided, man, this event stuff's pretty cool. I mean, I asked a professor, hey, could you make money at this event stuff? And at the time, it was like, yeah, you could be an event planner, you could be a wedding coordinator, you can work conventions. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So back then but that's not what I really went into. I went in more into the production part of it, the live production part of it, right? We call it toilets, tents, and fence. The ground stuff, logistics, things like that. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Wrapping up the interview, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have in the works the next?
Yeah. So I mentioned we just inked a deal with Dorito Partners, and we're super, super excited to have some exciting updates to this 30-year-old classic car show in Scottsdale. And it's been around. Of course, the first thing I tell myself is don't mess it up. But we have huge plans. We have a 30, 60, 90-day plan, and then we have a long-term plan of organizing it with great traffic flow and bringing in some entertainment and bringing in some experiences to make this a huge success. This car show a huge success, draw more people really to the pavilions. And the mission is to bring in consumers, right? This is a big giant pavilion's a big giant shopping center. It's huge, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, lots of retailers. Well, we want to be able to drive consumer traffic back into this area, and one way of doing that is this car show. Well, it's worked, right? And the retailers have grown out there, and there are more retailers moving into that area. And so we're excited about promoting this event. We're gearing up for the Arizona Balloon Classic. We're going to be going into next month into production mode. So this is where the sales mode kind of ends. April through November, we're sell. Now November, we're now going into production mode. If any listeners are stage, restrooms, fence, generators out there, we're now going to be sending out bids and going to be signing up our different service vendors for all of our events. And yeah, we're excited. We're excited to grow. We get to hire more people because we have more events. And so hopefully we can contribute we can be economic contributors. We like doing that as well. So we get to hire now more. So we're excited. Yeah, we're excited for our growth.
Sure. Excellent, Tim. So in addition to operations and running these events, how much of the marketing do you guys take on? Does it depend upon the event and who's running it?
Yeah, so we usually include that because we have some pros on our team that are good in that area, from digital media, social media, traditional media. So we line all that up and we make the best decisions for that client. Yeah, so we handle all that as well. Absolutely. We don't do too much traditional marketing and advertising like billboards, TV, radio, because it's kind of expensive. You can't track it, but lots of the social and digital is really where it's at, because you can track that, and you can also target as well. You can target a lot better. Because like I said, like in the beginning, I said, I love this technology. Technology has allowed us to do a lot of things for events.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if people would like to connect more or learn more about what you do, how can they find you?
Yeah, so there's two websites. I already promoted the balloon event, but there's azeventsgroup.com. And that's our company, and that tells our story as well, what we do, where we're going, and and there's ways to connect with me, info at either of those, or you can go tim@azeventsgroup.com. I love hearing from people. I love listening to people. I mean, reach out to us, tim@azeventsgroup.com, or go visit our websites.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for listening or watching. Thank you very much to Tim Matykiewicz for joining me today. We appreciate you sharing your story and insights into success and impact in Phoenix.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for the opportunity.
Inspired by our guests? Visit phoenixprosperitypodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.